Let's talk today about buying your first spinning wheel. So, when you are buying your first spinning wheel, there are many considerations to make. How much room do you have in your space? What kind of yarn are you going to be making? And then also, do you want a particular finish? Do you want a particular look? Are you going to be doing reenactments with your wheel? All kinds of things. But the main considerations are how much space do you have for your wheel? Are you planning to travel with your wheel? And what tension style do you want to have? So, first, space considerations. This is the Kromsky Fantasia that I have in front of me. This is a castle style wheel. All of the Kromsky wheels that I have are castle style, meaning that everything is kind of in one little space. It takes up about as much space as like a kitchen chair. So your wheel is down here, your treadles are down below the wheel, and your flyer and bobbin assembly are set directly atop the the wheel itself. It's very compact, easily transportable. You can take this and seatbelt it into a seat in your car, and it will ride just fine. Louettes are castle style wheels typically, and then most other companies have different styles depending on which model you get. The other style of wheel that you're going to see most commonly is a Saxony style wheel. Think of the Sleeping Beauty wheels from the Disney movies, where you have your wheel off to one side and then your flyer and bobbin assembly next to it. So that is a Saxony style wheel. They tend to take up more room. They also tend to be more difficult to travel with because they don't fit quite as nicely in your car. Now, if you are planning on traveling a lot with your wheel, besides a castle style wheel, they do make folding wheels. So you can get a wheel that actually folds up into a very neat little package. Most of these folding wheels will come with their own backpack or carry case, and they become very easy to transport as a result. The Kromsky Sonata, which you will sometimes see me spin on, is Kromsky's folding wheel, and it does come with a backpack. There is also I believe it's the Ashford Kiwi 3 and the Shocked Sidekick. Both all are folding wheels, and Louette has, I believe, the Victoria or the Julia. I can't remember which one, but Louette does have a folding wheel as well. The next consideration is what kind of yarn do you want to spin? How you consider this is what yarn do you use most in your knitting or your crocheting or your weaving craft? Do you use thicker yarns like worsted, or do you use thinner yarns like fingering weight or lace weight? This is going to kind of help you determine what tension style you're going to want your wheel to have, because of the three tension styles, some of them are a little more versatile than others. So let's start with how the Fantasia is tensioned. This is a Scotch tension wheel, meaning that it is a flyer led wheel. What I mean by flyer led is that the drive band, which is here, is going over a groove up here, and that is actually directly attached to my flyer. So when it is being driven, it is driving the flyer. Okay? Now the bobbin, without any yarn going through the orifice, does not move. Okay? How the bobbin moves is determined by the flyer. How this is tensioned is the tension band, which is this little hemp line right here. That is over a groove on my bobbin itself. So you can see these bobbins have these little grooves on the end. One's bigger than the other. And which one you use is determined by which style of wheel you're using and which tension system. But with Scotch tension, you typically use the bigger end. So that hemp band, your tension band, slows down your bobbin. So because your flyer is going at one speed, your bobbin is going at the same speed until you let go of your yarn. And then it pulls that yarn in because your bobbin is braked. It slows down. Alternatively, the other style of tension system is what we call Irish tension. It is a bobbin led wheel, meaning that your drive band, instead of being on this whirl that is directly attached to your flyer, the drive band actually goes over a groove on your bobbin. I don't have an Irish tension wheel here to show you. So unfortunately, I cannot show you how that works. But then when you're where your brake band goes is actually a leather strap that goes across the front of your flyer. So instead of your bobbin slowing down to draw the yarn in, the flyer slows down to draw the yarn in. There's also double drive spinning wheels, which means that both the bobbin and the flyer are being driven by the drive band. And there's a difference in the tension on both of them that creates the pull or the draw on your wheel. So, how do you select from these three different styles? Well, again, back to the question, what kind of yarn do you want to spin? Irish tension wheels tend to lend themselves very well to thicker yarns. So worsted weight, DK, bulky, all of those are wonderful to spin on an Irish tensioned wheel. Now, does that mean you can't spin fine yarns on an Irish tension wheel? No, you can. It's just more difficult because it pulls really, really hard. Scotch tension tends to lend itself more to thinner yarns, but you can also do thicker yarns as well. You have a very fine control over your tension using a knob right here. And as a result, you can kind of get the full range of thickness on yarn, depending on what you want to make. Double drive lends itself very well to fine yarns. I don't prefer to ply on a double drive, but that's my personal preference. That has nothing to do with can you ply on a double drive? You can. You absolutely can. I just prefer not to, and I have the option to ply on a different tension system. So that's kind of your consideration. If you want thick yarns, you go with an Irish tension. If you kind of want to run the gambit and do all of the different yarns, Scotch tension is the way to go. If you are exclusively into the super fine lace weight yarns, double drive is also an option. I don't recommend the double drive for like a super thick yarn because the pull tends to be very gentle on a double drive, and with thicker yarns you tend to need a little bit more pull on your wheel. So that's kind of your determining factor. And then from there, you can consider price, how much you want to spend on a wheel. And, you can, every model, every make, has different models and different price points. So that can help you determine which brand you want to go with depending on price. And then another consideration is what is locally available to you. So you can get on each individual spinning wheel manufacturer's website and you can find local dealers that are local to you. They are all over the country, all over the world, and a lot of them are perfectly willing to set up a time to meet with you and to let you test drive their wheels. I highly recommend test driving your spinning wheel before you purchase it, because that gives you the chance to sit down at it and really get a feel for it and find out, is it tall enough for me? Is it comfortable? Do I like double drive? Do I like single treadle? Do I like double treadle? Do I like this tension system, or does this feel weird? So absolutely test drive your spinning wheels, and then put your other considerations in there as well to determine what your first wheel is going to be, and you can't go wrong.